what should we eat after 40 to lose weight? Let's get into it. Today's day 2 of the 90 days challenge, and I wanted to go over what I'm doing to accomplish that. The first thing you have to do is you got to figure out how much you're eating, because when it comes down to it, it is calories in, calories out. You need to know how many calories you're currently eating. So you got to start tracking, and you got to start writing down everything you put in your mouth. You got to know, and you got to give that at least a couple days. A week would be preferable, but at least a few days, so you get an idea of what your natural eating habits are. And once you track those and you have a good idea of how much you're eating and what you're eating, then you're going to go and you're going to reduce 200 to 400 calories. And that is going to be your starting point. And for me, I'm currently sitting at 1550, so 1,550 calories a day. And you're going to want to break those up into how many calories of fat, how many calories of protein, and how many calories of carbs you're going to eat. I recommend, because, well, okay, I'm going to just put out there, I am not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, and I don't pretend to be one. But what I have found works best for me at this stage is I want to keep things balanced. I don't want to cut out any food groups, because this is not a fad diet. This is something that I want to be able to do for the rest of my life. I'm done with the fads. I've done them. Trust me, if it's out there, I've probably done it. And they don't work, because eventually they're not sustainable and I give it up. So I've come to realize, no, this has to be an eating plan that I can stick to. Maybe later, as I get into maintenance or I have other goals, maybe I want to build more muscle, that I change how many calories I'm eating, meaning I change the amount I'm eating, but I don't have to change what I'm eating. I'm going to stick to things that I like to eat and that I'll want to eat for the rest of my life. So for me, what it works into is I like to stay around 35% carbs. My calories come from carbs, 35% of my calories come from protein, and 30% of my calories come from fat. So for me, that's 136 grams for carbs a day, 136 grams for protein a day, and around 52 grams of fat. It's really important that you get protein in, and the experts say you want to shoot for around 1 gram per body weight. And if you're not at your ideal body weight, then you use that. You don't shoot for how many, if you're trying to lose weight, you don't shoot for how many grams you currently weigh for protein, because that could be an obsessive amount. And if you stick to eating protein, which if you're like me, I wasn't eating a lot of protein prior, and it was hard to start incorporating so much protein in my diet because I'm just not big on it. But with consistency and experimenting, it gets easier. I'll promise you that it gets easier. So that's how I break it down, and I recommend downloading like a nutrition tracker. I personally just use MyFitnessPal, but there's numerous out there. Find one that you like and works for you, and you're going to in there you can set up how many calories you want and how much, how you want your percentage broken down. And we'll keep track of it all for you. And it makes it a lot easier to track and keep mindful of. So once you figure out that, and you figure out how many, carbs and protein and fat, then you're going to figure out what you're going to be eating. So I recommend, and what I'm going to be doing is sticking to lean protein sources. So chicken, beef, fish, eggs, egg whites, jerky, Greek yogurt, and I also really like cottage cheese, and I also try to use collagen every day. That's a source of protein. And when needs be, I use protein shakes. But to be honest, I try to get protein from natural sources and limit the amount I rely on protein drinks. I feel like it's healthier for my body. I feel like I enjoy eating food more than drinking my food. So that's what I'm doing. As far as fats, I use, olive oil is great, avocado, nuts. Those are all good, all anti-inflammatory oils, and help with reducing inflammation, as opposed to other more inflammatory oils that are commonly used. And then for carbs, I'm sticking to whole grains, brown rice. I'm sticking to eating most of my carbs through fruits and vegetables, to be honest. Cutting out white flour and baked goods and those type of things, and sticking to those whole grain, and really fruits and vegetables is where I get most of my carbs. So I personally enjoy eating 3 meals a day. So for me, that's like 500 calories, about, give or take, per meal. And if I stick to that high protein, if you stick to it, it keeps you satisfied. It keeps you full, and it keeps you feeling like you're not on a restricted diet. You're not hungry. It takes your body longer to digest the protein. It actually burns more calories to digest the protein. So every day as I eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, I grab my weight scale, my food scale, and I serve myself up while it's on the scale, and note it down and put it into the app and keep track of what I'm eating that way. It keeps me mindful, and it keeps me accountable. As for what I eat, usually in the morning, it's some type of egg dish. For lunch, I'm not a big food prepper. I like to be able to decide at the time of the meal what I feel like eating, because I've learned in the past that when I prep a bunch of meals, I end up throwing food away because I can't stomach that meal another time, or I'm just not in the mood and it sounds gross to me, or whatever the case. So I like to prep my protein. So I'll, get a big thing of chicken or beef or whatever and cook that up, and then eat that until it's gone. And then do, change it. Like I do chicken, and then, okay, next time it's beef, and so on and so forth. I feel like when I do that, and then I'm changing the sides, or I'm changing the dish, so I don't feel like I'm not getting bored, and I'm eating to my cravings for that day. And I found that is something that's keeping me to be able to stick to this and not like go off rails and be like, no, forget it, I want a hamburger, right? So it's all like what works for you. That might not work for everyone. Some people might not have the ability to do that, and need to have actual meals ready to go. So you got to figure out, this is how I just see it, like this is long term. So I have to figure out things. We have to figure out things what are going to work for us long term. And that's what's going to lead to a healthy lifestyle for this next phase of our life. Okay, all this food talk is making me hungry. I need to go cook something. Hope you guys have a great day. You got this. Come on, we got this. We can do this. And I'll see you tomorrow.